Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an ancient prophecy that some believe lays out the exact future of modern-day Iran. So let's get right into it. In the middle of all the geopolitical tension we see in the Middle East, there's this incredible 2,600-year-old text from the Bible that seems to speak directly to the fate of Iran. We're going to unpack that. You know, the world stage is constantly set with conflict. The Iranian leadership frequently curses Israel. It funds proxy wars and openly threatens its neighbors and, of course, the West. But this isn't just standard geopolitics. It's actually fueled by a very specific apocalyptic worldview. So what if this conflict we see today is really part of a much, much older story? Okay, so let's turn to what's called the Elam prophecy. It's tucked away in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and it's a very specific prophecy about a region called Elam, and it's meant for the last days. Now, the absolute key to this whole thing is the name Elam. It's an ancient biblical term for the land that we know today as Iran. So this makes the text incredibly specific, right? It's pinpointing a modern nation. The prophecy kicks off with this really powerful declaration: God will break the bow of Elam, which the text itself identifies as the mainstay of their might, the very source of their power. So to understand this, let's think about warfare for a second. In ancient times, what was the primary long-range weapon? It was the bow. Well, what is it today? It's ballistic missiles. So the interpretation here is that breaking the bow is actually a prediction of the destruction of Iran's modern offensive military power. But the prophecy doesn't just stop with military judgment. It then pivots and focuses on the Iranian people themselves, and it predicts this dramatic global event. The text describes a staggering worldwide scattering of the Iranian people. And listen to how absolute this is. There won't be a single nation on earth untouched by this diaspora. Which brings us right to 1979. The Islamic Revolution triggers a mass exodus. Millions fled the new regime, and this flight is still going on. It has created a global diaspora that many people believe is the direct fulfillment of Jeremiah's words. So here's the crucial point. The prophecy explicitly says God will use Iran's enemies to carry out this judgment, and it all culminates in nothing short of regime change, the complete destruction of its king and officials. Okay, now after all this talk of fierce anger and shattering foes and destroying the government, the prophecy takes a shocking turn. I mean, it pivots completely from wrath to restoration, and it does it in a way that nobody would see coming. This verse right here is maybe the most startling one in the entire passage. Just moments after promising to destroy its leaders, God declares, "I will set my throne in Elam," right there, in Iran. And this raises an immediate, really obvious question. Wait a minute. Throughout the rest of the Bible, the prophetic promise is that the Messiah's throne will be in Jerusalem. So what on earth could a divine throne in Iran possibly mean? Well, the prevailing interpretation is that this isn't about a physical, political throne at all. Instead, it's talking about a spiritual kingdom. It suggests that God intends to make Iran the spiritual epicenter of his work in the Middle East, a missionary-sending powerhouse that literally flips from exporting terror to exporting the gospel. To really understand the scale of what this means, let's just get a baseline. Back in 1979, when the revolution started, there were only about 500 known believers from a Muslim background in the entire country. Just 500. Today, even with intense persecution, that number is believed to be in the millions. You know, more Muslims in Iran have come to faith in the last few decades than in the previous 14 centuries combined. It is widely considered the greatest spiritual awakening happening anywhere on the planet right now. Okay, let's get to the prophecy's conclusion, because you can see how this all builds to a message of really profound hope for the nation and its people. See, the prophecy doesn't end with judgment. It doesn't even end with setting up a spiritual throne. It concludes with this crystal clear, unambiguous promise. God will restore the fortunes of Elam. He will bless the Iranian people. This points to a future where that passionate spirit of the nation is completely rechanneled. So instead of fueling conflict, it becomes a force for global good, all built on an entirely new spiritual foundation of faith. Which leaves us with this final, powerful thought to think about. Could the geopolitical turmoil and the judgment we see unfolding today be the very process that's paving the way for this prophesied spiritual transformation? A story that starts with judgment, but ultimately leads to incredible redemption.